Hello, everybody. Tim Knight, and it is chart time. This is the first really good day I've had this week. We've been at lifetime highs on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And Monday and Tuesday, my disposition was, well, I'm not getting hurt too badly. Whereas today I'm doing really well because, and that's with lifetime highs again, as I said. ES green, YM green, lifetime highs on the Dow. But finally, we've had a major crack happen. And it's a crack I've been anticipating and hoping for with the wonderful world of hyperscalers. I've talked about this a lot. And you know what? What we're going to do is I'm going to get into the charts. And on the third chart, I'm going to talk more about this. So let's slip in and do the first couple, get them out of the way. Here's the diamond, lifetime highs, as required by federal statute. Trend line since March 30, just steady as she goes, up and away. IWM, this is also heading maybe to a lifetime high. We're up again on this one. And funny enough, it seems impossible to believe looking at this non-event today. I actually intraday made a 70% profit on a day trade with this. It was kind of my hate trade for the day. I, a couple hours ago, bought a bunch of IWM 301 puts that expire tomorrow. Not my typical trading style. Yeah, 70% profit. I got out, I thought I might hold them until tomorrow, but it's like, nah, just take it. So it is, there's a little wiggle. You can actually do all right if the winds blow your way. But let's get away from that. I really want to talk about Meta. Now, here's the irony. I was short Meta. I came into the day short Meta. Meta is up huge, $54, almost 10%. And that was the basis of a great day. How on earth could that be? Well, let's talk about that because that really, is like the most important topic of today's show. My view on Meta, for lots of personal reasons, born of personal experience, is that they will ultimately fail in the AI, their AI efforts. And they announced this morning before the open that, hey, we're going to sell access to our AI infrastructure. And clearly, the shareholders are celebrating and the stock market's celebrating because it has moved up, $100 billion or so, some meaningful amount of value, maybe more than $100 billion, almost 10%, whatever that may be. I would mention as an aside that the peak for Meta was back in last summer when they were going crazy, handing out, how big were the checks? Like 9-figure employment agreements. Trust me, I know. 9-figure employment agreements to all sorts of nice young men. And a lot of them stayed, a few did not. And that's insane. And they'll never see that money again. But since then, since that money grab that was taking place, Meta has done one thing, which is make a series of of descending lows, lower lows, bang. So here's the peak and, lower highs. So lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Today is another lower high. Now, as I said, I was short Meta. So why am I feeling just so saucy about this announcement? Well, I've got a lot of positions. It was 1 out of like 30 or something like that. So basically my profits from it went poof. I did reshort it later in the day. So I'm short again, Meta. But what's crucial here, and the moment I read that tweet, I reached my conclusion. Because a lot of people took it as, oh, this is good news for Meta, new revenue. My conclusion was, this is a tacit admission that your AI efforts ain't working. And we're going to start selling access. It would be the equivalent of me deciding I'm going to make the greatest taco chain in the United States. I'm going to take on, Taco Bell's not a great example, but let's just say Taco Bell. So I'm gonna be the king of tacos, Tim's Tacos. And a lot of press about it, a lot of chatter about it. And then I make the announcement, I'm going to sell to anybody interested. I'll Taco Bell, Chipotle, what have you. I'll sell taco shells. I'll sell you ground beef. I've got a lot of cheddar cheese here. What would you conclude? I guess Tim's not going to sell a lot of tacos because he's got all these raw ingredients and he's trying to sell off his inventory, right? That's exactly what this is. So let's have $1 trillion AI center. Some months later, hey, anybody want access to it? We'll take all comers. That's exactly what XAI did. And prior to the SpaceX IPO, which was an important new revenue stream for them, it is no accident that Meta, which is having a fine day, is in sharp contrast to, let's say, SpaceX, which is getting slaughtered. They're down many hundreds of billions. They've undone all that juicy goodness from Monday and Tuesday, and we're back to the red, because they had recovered here and was starting to kind of look pretty good yesterday. And they opened strong this morning, and then blah, down it goes. I'm highly confident this is directly correlated because it's like, ew, Meta's going to be getting in on our turf because they've got all this excess capacity that they know deep in their hearts they're never going to use. And so SpaceX is going to have less demand for their Colossus access. In turn, and I just want to emphasize, at this very moment, ES, green, RTY, green, YM, green, lifetime highs, almost every short I have is down. Any green on my screen is only because I shorted that earlier today at even higher prices. So it's a really good day, even with all this wretched green on the general screen. So that's what's cooking. People are starting to sniff out, maybe this whole hyperscaler / semiconductor / memory chip / data center thing ain't going to be so hot. With every great bull market, there is a break at some point. And it is impossible to know on the day that if this is the one. The internet bubble burst, we can see in retrospect, on Microsoft's earnings in March of 2000. That was, if you're going to put like the event, that's what really started things snapping. Things are starting to get a little, I think March 6th was the tippity top. So it was 2 or 3 weeks before Microsoft came out with their earnings. Or maybe they did a pre-announcement, but whatever the case may be, Microsoft, either in March or April, did their announcement and they sold off hard. And that was a big event. That was the crack. So maybe this is as the tired old cliche goes, canary in the coal mine. Some of the individual items that I'm short that are having good days, and I'm short every one of these, but no, I'm an honest chartist. This is the only one I'm not short. I just wanted to highlight it. GLW, Corning. I was short because it's down almost 20%, but it had its lifetime high yesterday, a beautiful shooting star, but today just getting clobbered. Now, let's not get too dramatic. We're plunging to prices not seen since Monday. Like 2 days ago was at this level, but it's still a very hard reversal. The rest I am short in one way or the other. SMH. Remember talking about gaps yesterday? And you could probably see the beads of sweat on my brow during yesterday's show because we were getting terrifyingly close to violating those gaps. And in some cases, we violated by a penny or two. But like SMH, this is the king to keep an eye on. And you can see here, you need an electron microscope. Look how close that got. Is that amazing? Yesterday's high almost perfectly touched that gap. And then today, all of yesterday's gains are gone and a portion of Monday's. So that's a step in the right direction. Applied Materials, AMAT, down almost 10%. I think I mentioned yesterday my daughter interning at AMAT, and all the men my age who've been lumbering around there for decades and finally have their day in the sun won't shut up about their stock's performance, the poor girl. But almost entirely for that reason. It's like, I'm going to short these guys. And so they're down very hard, almost 10%. AXTI, We talked about this yesterday as well. Most of these show up daily on the show. Here's the overhead supply. There's the inverted cup with handle pattern. We, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, crept up toward the bottom, but now we're down again toward some multi-month lows today. LITE, which is Lumentum. That's cute. This one is down over 6%, almost completing this very substantial distribution top, like so. MRVL. Marvell, I guess. It's not Marvel, MRVL. Let's zoom in on this. This is an instance in which, yes, we sealed the gap and then a few pennies here and there. You'll let it go between friends. It's all right. And so we've undone yesterday's gains and we're piercing into Monday's trading activity. So this is about 7.5% down. So again, green, and other stuff, but tech is finally getting the jitters, as Tom Lee might say. Nokia, not as down dramatically, about 3%, but it's a very good looking pattern, and I've actually expanded the size of this position because I like the pattern so much. ST Microelectronics, down over 5%, below its own broken trend line. STX, Seagate, down over 4%, one of the big storage companies. So we're now down where we were at the lows last week. VSH, Vishay Interactive, showed this one yesterday as well, down over 5%. Lovely, cute little top right there, like so. AMD, this is white hot. This one hasn't broken down as badly. It is down over 5%. Yesterday was lifetime highs. But as I say, if we start to get serious about the selling, I ain't covering it until we get down to this gap, which is a few zip codes away. Caterpillar, it's like, that's not a semiconductor, that's not a technology company. They sell like tractors and stuff. Well, no, they've been one of the biggest beneficiaries of this hyperscaling nonsense. Yesterday, lifetime high on them. They're, back in the day, a company like Caterpillar would have a PE of like 4. Because they sell like combines. These days they're seen bizarrely as Mark Zuckerberg's wingman. But we've got a nice reversal today, down over $70, almost 7%. Ciena, getting back more to the pure tech here. This is down over 5%. 5% plus is kind of the drop, the standard drop today, it seems. Let's put down one more horizontal just to kind of define that area a little bit better. Listen, this has nothing to do with, good heavens, what's that sound? Lennar. I know. Lennar is a company I've been talking about on the short side. It's all right, Angel. For 3.7% negative on this. This is a housing, they're a home builder. And the beauty of this is just the size and the clarity of this pattern. It's just something sensational. So that's, some of these are like shorter, obviously I like shorts to go on as long as possible, but this one I could easily see going deep into 2027 with this position. It's a slow mover, but it's going the right way. Back to tech. Micron down almost down about 9-10%, over 8%. Very clean break of the trend line. Very exciting to see that. SMTC, Semtech. This was down also over 8%. I haven't really drawn anything of this. Let's do that super quick, like so. A couple more. UMC, which is United Microelectronics. Look at that. Scary, huh? Look at that gap. Look how close we got. Did not violate it. So huzzah. WDC, Western Digital. One could argue this would be a good time to cover. Maybe. We're resting at that trend line. But tomorrow's jobless report might shake things up more. But that's been a nice one too. So WDC down almost 10%. Over 5% today. And with all this going on, the leveraged bullish instrument KORU based on South Korea, is getting slaughtered, 21.29% negative, reaching the kinds of lows we'd seen during these past sell-offs. Very nasty stuff. The lifetime high way back here at the start of about a month ago exactly. So big down day for this one. I actually did a post yesterday on KORU. So wrapping it up, here's the spider. Still green, 0.02% for the moment. Kind of hanging out as it has for months in this area, just grinding around. Lots of smoke, no fire to speak of. God willing, tomorrow the jobs report will get things moving harder, lower.